because you're not in the will of, I have to do the money now. Okay. And so going into next year, this is what I'm doing. Okay. And I want you to evaluate what you want to do based on your goals. And if you don't have goals, now is the time to book a call with me. Okay. I do have a 60-minute strategy call, by the way, that you can book with me. Going into 2026, I will continue to keep my health. I will double down on that. Not just going to the gym, but I'm literally like, I have a call scheduled to take supplements. I'm going to take care of my skin even better than ever because I've been neglecting my skin a lot. I am going to keep my automations, and I am going to be looking for more paid opportunities. And I am going to focus on diversifying my skill set. Okay. Diversifying our skill set is something that we teach heavily inside the academy, because one of the things that I see with my clients is they come into the academy and the goal of that program is we want to help them. Welcome back to the show. Today, I want to share with you some of the top money lessons, and I'll also give you an insight on some of the things that I'm doing going back into 2026. If you are new to the show, welcome. I like to remind you to please subscribe to the podcast or the YouTube channel. So let me start by sharing why I decided to create this episode. So this is so good. So I have been batch recording the podcast for a while now, which means that once a month I invite multiple people in advance to join me for the podcast. And I just batch records episodes based on the expertise these guests have. I also decide to do some solo episode like this one based on the things that I'm going through. And so, as you know, we are getting close to close this year again. And I don't know how you're feeling. I want to start by saying I love the holidays. I love when the temperature starts dropping. I love everything, like it's snowing outside, but this year it feels a little bit different because our community is going through a lot of uncertainty. And I can feel the energy just like you. Okay. So there is a lot going on. And so I feel like a lot of us are going through these, I'm calling them valleys. Okay. And those valleys for some reason feel deeper than any other valley that we've been to, right? Some of us also go through seasonal depression, or the holidays are also like something that doesn't make us always feel energized. And so I was talking to the members inside the Say Hola Wealth Academy, which is my group coaching program. And a lot of us are going through different phases in our lives with different things, but essentially everything equates to there is a lot of uncertainty. The economy is not doing good. There is a lot of layoffs happening. There are a lot of you that are struggling financially more than ever. And so I thought, okay, I have to do an episode on what is happening with me, but also what are my top money lessons that I took from this year that I implemented and that I'm taking into 2022. So I want to start with one that I'm doubling down on. Okay. So this year, my family had a very unexpected health scare. And so I didn't see that coming. It didn't happen to me, by the way, but I was shook in the way that I start seeing how important investing is. I start seeing how you always have to be prepared for a rainy day, even when you feel at your best, even when you might have already investments, like you have to be prepared for these things. So what happened is one of our family members went through a situation where they were very healthy, and all of a sudden, like, there was a lot of uncertainty of, are we going to be able to continue to do the work that we do, right? Like imagine if I talk all the time and then one day I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, I don't have a voice, right? Like that will be super super scary. And so I was navigating the situation with a loved one, and I realized that we were so focused on let's hit the next goal, let's hit the next milestone when it comes to investing, when it comes to ensuring that we are getting closer to our financial goals, to hit our fire number, to hit the, for me in particular, to hit the $1 million, right? And so I was always focusing on, let me do this. And I used to believe that I wasn't following the hustle culture, but then these family event made me realize, like, who are you kidding? Like, you're still part of it, even though you said that you don't want to be part of it. Like, your actions are still very much hustle like. And so what I decided to do after we were able to find answers and use money as a tool to, hey, if someone is telling me that I need A, will this other person tell me the same thing, right? So we were seeking a lot of answers, and thank goodness we were financially able to just say, let's use this money that we have been working on creating so we can find answers, and we did, right? And so now we're back to, I don't want to call it normal, but we're more stable. So when this situation happened, I realized that I have been so focused on writing the book, on getting with my publisher, on making sure my clients are getting results. And I realized that I wasn't as active as I have been. And so one of the things that I decided to do this year was I am going to double down on my expenses that essentially give me more energy and give me more health, right? And so for me, that was, I'm going to sign up for, this is going to sound crazy, but I decided to sign up for an additional gym membership because the one I had, I was finding excuses not to go to it. Let me explain, okay? So the first membership that I have, I needed to get in the car and drive for about 20 minutes and get to the class, and on the weekends get the girls ready and do all of these things that, yes, may seem like, oh my god, that she see that as a problem. Like, for me, it wasn't so much of a problem, it was my excuse. And so I'm friends with someone that is super active, and she was pushing me like, hey, why don't you get up early and then you start doing all these workouts? And I was trying to come up with excuse of, well, I'm not a morning person, I used to, but now I don't like it. And I was just coming up with these excuses, right? Well, guess what happened when my loved one ended up being sick? I was like, oh, now it's on me. Like, I'm going to become the one that, or I could potentially become the one that has to come up with all of these primary income. And so I need to make sure that I'm 100%. So I joined this membership. It's only 3 minutes away from where I live. I have no excuses, right? So I started to join this new gym where 4:50 a.m. I'm already working out. I'm already ready to come home, have breakfast, and start getting the girls ready for school, and even have time to spend with my husband. So that is something that I did because I value health. Okay. So if you value your health, and we all know that without health, there's no way we're going to get up and go do the job, or there's no way we're going to feel energized to apply for all these jobs if we are one of those individuals that were forced out of the company because of a layoff. Okay, and I'm going to touch on that a little bit later. So that is my number one money lesson that I want you to evaluate if it's something that could potentially work for you. Okay. The next thing is automation. I have said this before multiple times on multiple episodes. If you are not automating your money, you are losing not just money to inflation, but you're also losing the potential growth of those investments or of those savings, right? So I knew when I created my money plan last year, by the way, I said, I don't want to budget. I don't want to be transferring money here and there. I like, what can I do so I only have to transfer money probably once a month or twice a month, if that, right? And so for my personal finances, I already knew how much money I needed to have in my high yield savings account. I already knew how much money I needed to have on my regular checking account to flow into my investments. And then for my business, it was the same thing. How can I essentially create like a cash waterfall? So when I have money, a payment that comes in from let's say a client, how can that payment go into multiple buckets, so I manually don't have to do that. So I lean a lot into automation. And so here's the invitation for you: are you making sure that you are automating your money so you don't have to overthink it, right? Because when we overthink, there is a lot of fear that could come, because we're like, oh my god, wait a minute, what if I'm not going to have enough for X, Y, and Z, right? So there is a lot of uncertainty that comes with that. And so I want you to think about it too. Like, if I'm overthinking this decision, is there a potential for, ooh, maybe I don't want to do it, right? Now, the next thing that I did is I'm going to talk about the economy, okay? We all know that the economy has been a little bit, I call it bumpy, okay? And it's happening everywhere. So for those of you that have a 9 to 5, you have seen layoffs left and right. And a lot of people claim it's due to AI. And I just want to address that, okay? The people that are being laid off, it's not because of AI, it's because they didn't embody that I need to learn AI as a tool, right? And there's so many industries, by the way, that people got laid off, and maybe your industry doesn't use AI, right? So I'm not speaking directly to the industry. I'm speaking to some of the tech industries that I personally am aware of, that I have friends that work there. And so what I decided to do there is, okay, I need to think about the economy. And everything that we were seeing was layoffs are happening, inflation is rising, the economy is bad, 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 bad. And what happens to our belief and what happens to our nervous system when we feel like the economy is bad, right? Because it happens. All of us felt it. And so I personally was feeling a lot of, oh my God, am I going to make money this year? I'm an entrepreneur, and what happens if my clients don't buy from me? And oh my God, what happens if I have some speaking engagements cancel on me? Which, by the way, I did have several speaking engagements cancel on me. And so I started to think, what am I going to do? And with that, what am I going to do, came a lot of fear. And with that fear came a lot of, how am I going to pay my team? And I decided that I wasn't going to let the circumstances dictate how I was going to earn money this year. And so I quickly realized I'm having all these negative thoughts that are holding me back from creating more money. And I know in the past, I also talk about the concept of good money versus bad money, or excuse me, good money versus quick money, right? And when we are hearing all these negative conversation in our brain about how am I going to make money, or I need to make money, our nervous system starts going into this like, I don't know what I need to do, but I need to make money. And then we get in this wheel of like hustle, 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 and grind and do. And I start feeling the energy myself. And so I said, hold on, Lucy, like come back to yourself. You already know the difference between good money and quick money. So how can you start making quick, like how can you stop seeking quick money and lean into the good money? And how would you feel if you choose to believe that you can make money with any economy? So, the listeners and the viewers that I have right now, I want you to think about this. What will happen if you adopt the belief that you can make money with any type of economy? Good, bad, sticky, muddy, whatever you want to call it. So, I told myself that, and I said, I know how to create good money because I've done it before. I done it in 2020, which we all know the pandemic was very, very, very real. And then I did it again this year. And so for me, I was able to translate a skill set that I didn't feel I had it as strong, by the way, as I have it now. And that was writing. I was able to convert a small writing contract into a very juicy, very big check type of contract. And that was because I was in this energy of, I want to make good money. And I know how to do this because I've done it before. So for you, my amazing mujer in a 9 to 5, or for you, my entrepreneur who are struggling right now with where is my paycheck coming from next, I want you to lean into where was my paycheck coming before I arrived to this circumstance, right? For my entrepreneur, it might literally mean reach out to past clients, reach out to past corporate accounts, reach out to your family members. And yes, they're not going to be your clients, but they can definitely invite people to work with you by saying, hey, I have a sister or a prima or someone who is a service provider on X, Y, and Z. If you know anybody that needs a help with X, Y, and Z, please send them my way or their way, right? So I want you to lean into that because you already have proof on how you make money before. And for my chicas in a 9 to 5, if you were recently laid off, your skill set did not stay with the company. That skill set belongs to you. Those certifications that you have spent hours like making sure that you got accredited for or that you got certified, those belong to you. If you were laid off from healthcare, your skills are very transferable into other industries like food and beverage, maybe tech, maybe transportation. And a lot of you also focus on, well, I got laid off from healthcare and I'm hearing all of these noise that tech is not safe right now. The only thing that I want you to worry about is the things that you do, okay? Because sometimes we also don't apply for opportunities because Rosita said that it wasn't a good opportunity, okay? And so lean into that of how can I make good money once again, a little bit. So good money is the money that you seek and that you know you can create when you are in this abundance and rational and fact energy, meaning that you look at data or you look at a past success and you're like, ha, this is how I make money. And then you seek to make more money from that place of I've done it before. I'm just being influenced by all of these, breaking news and by everything that's happening right now. Quick money as when you're just desperate, like I have to go get the fucking money right now because it's like die or else, right? Like you have to get the money. So I don't want you to lean into that energy because that energy doesn't create abundance. And if anything, I feel like it blocks it, right? And I've been there too before multiple times. So the next thing that I wanted to also mention, a top money lesson that I embodied this year was I, with everything happening to our community, I said, I want to lean more and more and more and more and more and more into making sure that I am doing ethical investing. I know that if I am in alignment with how my money is being invested, and this is true for those of you that have a 401k, 457, 403b, like I want my investments to match my values 100%. And that was one of the biggest top money lessons for this year as well, because we have seen how so many companies are just following profit right now and they don't give a shit what's happening. They're like, oh, well, why would I stop my ads, or why would I keep hiring someone when all of these trends said that no, I'm going to lose money as a company. For me personally, it was deeper than that. Like I don't want to wake up and feel sick because I'm invested with the wrong company, right? And so for those of you that have a 401k, I highly invite you to just check in with your investments. Like, is it in alignment with who I am and my values? And some of you might say, well, I don't really know, right? And going into 2026, you can use that excuse, okay? And then the next thing that I did this year that I'm taking into 2026 is up until halfway of this year, I was getting into cohorts to continue to grow, continue to learn something, right? Like stay ahead of the game. And this year, I decided that while originally I was the one making the investment, now I want to be the one the people invest in. Let me say that again. I want to be the one that people invest in. So I decided that I was going to participate in a cohort based program, but I wasn't going to pay for it myself. I started to intentionally seeking opportunities where people say, we will pay you to teach you a skill set. So you have to become a student, which, if you think about it, we're already doing that with some other cohorts, right? Some other programs that we do, but typically we're the one paying for it. Now, I'm only doing this, by the way, because I have the financial stability that I need, and I also have my investments backing me up. Okay. So if you're not here, I don't want you to be like, well, Lucy did this, and so I'm going to do it. No, I have been following the ladder of how to build wealth. I have created financial stability. I have a business that is 90% automated. And that's why I said I want people to pay me to have me in their programs. And luckily, I was able to find a program to allow me to do that. And this also happened because my family member, when we had the health scare, I was like, I need to be able to create money that comes from multiple sources, right? And there's also another strategy that I have with this paid opportunity. By the way, I'm not just there as a student, I'm there for something else that I can't just reveal just quite yet. Okay. And so I want you to think about that. If you already have a skill set, and you maybe are one of those amazing people that unfortunately were faced with a layoff this year, I don't want you to say, well, I'm going to start doing free work for the local chamber of commerce, for example, right? I want you to lean into the good money energy and say, how can I talk to the chamber of commerce so they can hire me as a consultant for small businesses? Or if you're an entrepreneur, you can say, how can I start building my money systems so my money just flows? So, how can I start creating these systems? I'm doing a dance, by the way, for those of you that can see this on YouTube. How can I have this like dance of my systems and my processes work for me, right? When you slow down to implement these systems, it helps you with the mindset, and then the mindset helps you with the money, because you're not in the will of I have to do the money now. Okay. And so going into next year, this is what I'm doing. Okay. And I want you to evaluate what you want to do based on your goals. And if you don't have goals, now is the time to book a call with me. Okay. I do have a 60-minute strategy call, by the way, that you can book with me. Going into 2026, I will continue to keep my health. I will double down on that. Not just going to the gym, but I'm literally like, I have a call scheduled to take supplements. I'm going to take care of my skin even better than ever because I've been neglecting my skin a lot. I am going to keep my automations, and I am going to be looking for more paid opportunities, and I am going to focus on diversifying my skill set. Okay, diversifying our skill set is something that we teach heavily inside the academy, because one of the things that I see with my clients is they come into the academy and the goal of that program is we want to help them generate 20K in 12 months. Some of my clients do it in 3 months. They're like, yeah, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Some of them take a little bit longer, and that's why we have the 12-month program. But we help them diversify their skill set, and the skill of managing and understanding your thoughts. It's a skill that is going to give you the most money. Investing is the second one, by the way. And so inside the academy, we're always talking to them about, hey, let's talk about diversification of skill set. What are you doing now? How can you translate it into maybe an additional income stream outside your 9 to 5? Because believe it or not, there are so many people that are doing that now. Having a side hustle, or what I like to call a side business, it's not optional anymore, particularly with how the economy is going, particularly with the uncertainty of potentially more layoffs coming up, right? And so you have to see these as normal. And in fact, I'm going to give you a spoiler. In my book, Libre, I talk about this, right? we fear diversification of wealth, and we fear diversification of a skill set because we have been told that loyalty is wealth, and it's not. And this last week, by saying this, because we're learning a new skill set, by the way, that I will share later on, but she said something that resonated with me so much, and I was like, oh my god, if I can jump through the Zoom room, I would totally like hug this lady and we would be jumping together, because it was just like, what a powerful thing to say. Okay, so what she said was, for personally, for me, being an industry loyalist does not work. And I was like, let me say that again. Being an industry loyalist does not work for me. And I literally leaned and I said, oh my God, yeah, that's totally me too, right?